Louis.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louis was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louis found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $500 million for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louis has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louis.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're listening to 1680 WOKB AM, Winter Garden, Florida.
The views and opinions of the following program is not necessarily those of WOKB, staff, and management of Unity Broadcasting. It's the Don Miller Show, where you listen.
Listen. The image, I learned this because I'm from Chicago, but the image on the Uncle Ben's box was a guy in the 40s in Chicago who was a maitre d'.
Laugh.
You know? And they don't even know Mrs. Butterworth's race.
At all, okay? At all, right? Look, I know Aunt Jemima was black. Who knows Mrs. Butterworth's race? Right.
And learn.
Systematic racism is what you just mentioned.
Yes, sir.
If we want to engage in the conversation of systematic racism, then I think we might want to engage in the conversation of reparations. The motto on this show is listen, laugh, and learn.
Catch Don Miller, Tamika Page, and Glenn Allgood for the Don Miller Show Tuesday and Friday from 12 to 2 p.m. right here on WOKB.
Hello, everyone. You're listening live to the Don Miller Show, where we listen, laugh, and learn. We got new promos and everything, man. We are doing some shining star things. We got some good conversation for you today. As a matter of fact, we got several different types of conversations for you today. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to have some family conversation about a lot of different things. We want you to engage in this conversation. We want to know how these things are landing with you. How are you feeling about it? 407-894-1680 is the number you are going to want to dial. Hey, listen, follow us on Facebook at thedonmillershow.com. You can also follow us on YouTube, and you can head over to our new website at www.thedonmillershow.com. My tongue does not want to cooperate with me. Listen, I'm Tamika Page, and here's your host, Don Miller.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This is a good day. There's a lot to talk about, but I want to start this conversation out because I, as many people, have, in our arrogance, taken shots at people who are suffering because they come from a different box. You follow me? Let me break this down, right? When the rich and famous go through difficult situations, oftentimes, as we've seen, based on mental illness, right? Mm-hmm. We don't find it a problem to take shots at them. Probably because they are rich and successful, and we have that issue that we deal with as well. But let me tell you what I'm dealing with right now. I'm dealing with watching the level of mental illness among men of color that have attained a certain level of success. Because I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing right now. When I see Kanye West, I see R. Kelly, I see many of these young men who suffer from either undiagnosed or diagnosed mental illness. Yet we, because of their ability to provide some entertainment to us, we have continued to pass them on. Kanye West is sick, but he's been sick. And when we see a system that finds it okay to manipulate someone who is sick for the benefit of a platform, program, or circumstance. Kanye's sick, man. Y'all need to pray for that brother. But you also need to pray for all of the brothers who engage with the Kardashians. Seriously, think about this. From Reggie Bush, go down the list. From Lamar Odom, go down the list. And those are just a few that y'all know about.
Keep going.
The problem with it is, right? We need to pray for any brother. We need to do an intervention to keep black men away from the Kardashians. I'm just telling you what I know. Because before, there was a guy named Damon Thomas who married Kardashian Kim at 19, and then he lost everything. He was a producer, right?
Damon Thomas.
Okay, that's the name of it.
And he helped produce the soundtrack for Dreamgirls. Brilliant young guy.
Okay.
Then there was Ray J,
Ray
Remember
J.
who was moving on up.
Yes, he did.
Then there was Chris Humphries. Man, come on, y'all, man.
Of the New Jersey Nets.
Come on, man. Look, that's the conversation we need to
Protect
have.
the black men.
No, it's like they go after a certain kind of brother. First of all, look, for those of us who come from where I come from, we've always known that Brother Kanye has some challenges, but he's a genius.
Yes,
He's a genius.
Most geniuses have
Okay?
some issues.
There's a thin line, right?
Yes.
Between genius
and that's historical.
and insanity.
Absolutely.
And that's historical.
Look, I didn't know Kanye like that, but I knew him. But I knew Robert. Okay? These are young geniuses, right? Who suffer from mental illness. Yet you can function with that easily if you have people around you who really care about you. I've known some brilliant people who when the light was off, struggle to even engage in a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay if the people around you really have your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember Rhymefest, who's a brilliant young brother from Chicago, really good dude, right? Good dude, right? Good brother.
What was that name again?
Rhymefest. He was Kanye's first producer.
Okay.
Good brother. Ran for office on the South Side. Just a really solid, intelligent brother, right? I don't know what happened to him and Kanye, but Kanye did much better when Rhymefest was his guy.
Mm-hmm.
So often we move into this next level of this conversation of entertainment, and all of those people who took care of us, who we trusted, who wasn't going to get us, have somehow been moved out by a new group of people who, quite frankly, don't have your best interest at heart. I want to shout out LeBron James for keeping his boys with him and making sure that his boys were educated to do the work as he grew.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, Maverick and those guys run an amazing operation for LeBron.
Yeah.
I, too, was one of those guys back in the day, Glenn. You remember.
Oh, yeah.
And working with athletes for 20 plus years, I had a few that had mental illness. One has historical mental illness, and everybody in America knows him, right? But you have to put people with these guys who at least are going to be able to ring the bell when they start to spiral. My concern about Kanye, right, is that his wife don't care. Listen to what I'm saying. Wait.
It would seem like she didn't because she wasn't quick enough to rein him in.
Man. She saw this coming.
It would seem like it to me.
She saw it coming.
And she should have seen it coming. And before she could catch it, it spewed out.
There's no way you lay down and have children with a guy like Kanye West and not know.
She can't be with him all the time.
But she spent enough time with him to know that her husband had some real issues.
But see, I see it different between you, between you and Glenn, because I personally feel like that you guys put unrealistic expectation on people a lot of time. Glenn looking at me like, huh? Listen, let me explain what I'm saying. The Kardashians have lived their lives on TV. That's what reality is. They live their lives on TV. So drama gets them ratings. The more drama, the better the ratings. So you're asking a family who has built an empire on reality TV, on drama, right? Yeah, that's what it takes for reality TV to be, top notch, right? To be high rated, you need that drama. So you're asking this family
to move away from
who
they are,
from drama that drives their ratings. And it's drama in their lives that drives their ratings.
So you're
saying that she should have reeled him in when she saw early signs?
That's right. She should have.
No, that's unrealistic. To me, like that's unrealistic expectation of that particular family.
Dom was saying that geniuses as such need people who will reel them in.
Again.
Okay. And let me
and
just
who better than your wife, Don?
If he was with a different
person,
if she was with a different person, if he was with a different person, a different kind of wife, yes, I would say all day. But that's not the kind of wife he married. That's not the kind of family he went into. He went into a family that was building an empire on reality TV.
So his personal problem was made for TV.
Wow.
Of course. That's what they
played out before millions. So what will be played out before millions.
So pretty much what Damika is saying is it behooves her to allow her husband to spiral.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Now she has expressed. Now you guys are saying that she should have caught it early and started trying to get him help early. But I think that's unrealistic. She never would have done that. She has expressed, and I can only say what she's expressed because I'm not there and I can't say if they lying or not, but she has expressed that she has tried to get him help, that he's not listening to anybody, that he's not taking his medication. She has expressed those types of concerns. Did she do it early on? I don't know. I don't know that. But I will tell you this, Glenn. I know people with high level bipolar disorder. I know them personally. And I know that their families have challenges keeping them together. I know that they have violent rages. I know that they try to get them help. I know that they try to have them on medicine. I have seen that up close and personal. So it's challenging for a regular family. So caller, you're on the Don Miller Show.
Hi, yes. How can she see the signs of her husband when he had and her family had the mental illness themselves, and they couldn't see the signs?
That's another good point.
You know what? You're 100% right.
Wow.
And that is a family who historically have had these level of issues. You think about the mother,
and they make money on the
mother
issues.
Married a guy who's not a guy, kind of guy, but not really a guy, right? Yeah. Then when they divorced, she went for a 19-year-old. Remember?
Wow. Yeah.
And so when you see how this works, right? I just want to know, caller, maybe you can help me with this. Who are these black guys that come from a level of struggle and drama and ridiculousness, and they make it out, right? Then they go and find a white family with the same issues that they left their own black family for. I got a guy who, and I'm going to tell you Lamar Odom. Y'all know I love Lamar Odom, right?
I knew you was
going Lamar Odom left brokenness and made it, only to return to brokenness at the hands of, you think about what I'm saying.
He almost lost his life, Don. He almost lost his life.
It's what you say, caller?
All the wrong places.
Thank you. So you're right.
He couldn't find it in the black family, so he went over to the
white family. Thinking that
and he got caught up.
Thinking that would probably be better. Let's be clear.
Yes.
It's okay to say that on this show. The fact is, I am concerned because what I'm seeing is making me extremely uncomfortable. This is not about race. This is just about a bad family. The devil. The Kardashians is the devil. No matter what color they were, they would just be the
I thought
devil.
we were talking about mental illness.
We go
in our
first.
community.
Okay,
We were.
we
We
are.
went from mental illness to our community.
Thank you so much,
to
caller.
The Kardashians being the
thank you,
devil
caller.
family. Really?
No, I'm just saying. Look. I'm a
That's
black.
how you-
I'm a black guy, and I'm looking at what I'm seeing. Right?
Oh,
and
Don, cut it out.
No, everybody.
You just heard. You just
black people cancel out everybody. When blacks gonna cancel out the Kardashians?
stop it.
Hmm?
Black men love the Kardashians. I don't know why you even trying to play like they don't love the Kardashians.
I don't know.
You know, Glenn, you know.
We do.
You know.
I'm finna sit up here and lie.
Stop it now.
That's-
And then you have black athletes that think, and you have heard them voice this, Don. You have heard black athletes voice that they see white women. If they can find a white woman with a nice rear, they think they have arrived. It's a symbol of status. It's a
Tamika,
symbol.
really?
Yeah, that's what they said. I didn't say it. Don't say Tamika. Really, that's not what I say.
No. And
There are athletes that
we gotta
say
let
that.
Tamika talk because Tamika she doesn't date black guys. So we got to let her talk.
What does that mean?
You don't date black guys for some reason.
What does that mean?
But it's okay.
So you think that all my life that I have never dated a black guy? Are you serious right now? And are you serious
where did that
about
come
me?
from?
I was an athlete, so don't get it twisted. I know that world.
Okay. So the point I make is this: I
Yeah.
just don't understand how.
Because your first point was very invalid. So let's hear the next point.
And then he came at you like from the back door.
Like I don't know.
hook,
Cut it out.
hook. Okay.
That was a hook.
No, that was a hook. The point I make is this: I'm looking at what I'm seeing, and when I watch this, and I'm going to go into a real conversation right quick, of course.
Okay.
You know the motto on the show is listen, laugh, and learn,
That's right.
as we always say. But let me just say this: so I watched Kanye in Charleston, South Carolina, the other day, right? And
Yes.
Was that a rally? His
it
rally?
was his first rally.
That was his rally.
It was his first rally. And I watched this, right? And let me just tell y'all something. I tried not to watch this kind of stuff because it doesn't end good for me. And I'm watching him and I'm saying, where's his people? Where's his people?
Where are his handlers?
At that point, right?
Yes.
Where's his handlers? At that point, somebody should be strong enough in his life
Really?
to say, "Yee,
Where were the people around Whitney Houston?
again,
Come
right?"
on now. Let's
right?
not let's
You
not
know, but-
pretend like
but-
we don't see this. Glenn, why y'all pretending like
What
we
are you
don't see
saying?
this?
So are you saying that they're just there for the money, for the payday?
Why didn't where was
is all
Whitney
a-
Houston's people?
They
Where
were all
were they?
caught up. They were all caught up in the same
What are they
stuff
caught
that
up
she was-
in? They're caught up in the attention and the money.
But let me just say this, everybody.
This is not new.
Let me just say this. Kanye West is not running for president. Let's clearly
Please,
say this.
please clarify
Stop.
Is he? Is he? Is he?
No, he couldn't get the signatures in South Carolina to be on the ballot, and there's no late registration. So he's not running for president. But what he's doing
It's
is
a
he's
marketing
he's-
genius.
listen to me. Either something is wrong with this dude, which I believe that.
But it's always been something wrong. That's not nothing new.
But again, there's someone not loving him right now. And I'm gonna tell you, this is what I'm saying.
Maybe he still misses his mom.
I guarantee you, I'm sure. But there's someone not loving him. If you love this kid right now, if you love him, you go get him. I've done it before. Okay, D'Amica, you've done it before. When you see somebody you love spiraling, you go get them, man.
It's different with entertainers. I'm sorry.
Man.
We see this all the time, and we know that it's different with
Man,
entertainers.
he's
with
making a great
How do we
point.
do this, man?
He's
How do
making a
we-
great point.
How do we let this happen, man?
know?
Look, I don't even think he's a distraction. I think he's losing it. Okay? I think he's actually losing it. I know people want to think because he's a musical genius
He's
that
brilliant.
he's not being manipulated in the other box. This is not
By
a
who or by
distraction.
his other self?
Kanye is not a distraction. Kanye is, they know who's going to watch Kanye. You follow me? Everybody knows who's looking at Kanye. And it's not just young black kids, it's young white kids too, right? They're looking at Kanye. They're looking at him.
He's a trendsetter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's not going to ever be president. Ever. Not even going to be vice president. Not going to be a state representative. Kanye West, I hope he makes it to the end of the year. What I'm seeing is frightening. What I'm seeing is frightening. And if somebody don't go get this kid, right, it's going to be ugly. So I just want y'all who pray out there or whoever y'all chant to just do me a favor. This young man, we are looking at a bad situation. But we keep seeing this. And I want everybody to understand, I am so much more happier without all the attention than I was when I had it. Sometimes all of that bring a whole bunch of drama to your life. You follow me? Sometimes you just want to go somewhere and sit in the corner. These are people who can't do that. And then they attach themselves with people who want to take advantage. It is a perfect storm, D'Amica.
That's the lifestyle of being in the entertainment industry. We see it all the time. It's not just Kanye. Kanye is not the first.
No.
We see it time and time again. A lot of entertainers,
black and white,
right. They take their lives because of the
Kurt Cobain was amazing and on top, Glenn.
Yeah, man.
He was on the top of
a lot of we've had a lot of brilliant entertainers take their lives, because of the pressure that comes from the fame and having to perform. Bernie Mac, I'll never forget. When Bernie Mac did an interview and he talked about how the stress of always having to be on, the stress of always having to be the life of the party, to be the one that, get everybody stirred up. As soon as you walk in the room, they expect you to have a joke, to always be on like that, and when he described the pressure that it was, we just don't. And then everybody around them, is there to take part in the limelight. So you don't even really have, can you imagine how many real friends you even have? And can you imagine some of the family members that are just there to ride your coattail? So you can't discern your family members, your friends. It's a narrow circle, Don. And it's no wonder so many of them take their lives. And how many of them are building that on the foundation of knowing who their creator is. And so that they can have an outlet where they can find peace. That's all I'm saying. It's not new, and we're not having real conversations about it.
In the headlines this morning, Tamar Braxton.
I just want to get to Sister Tamar, and y'all, Sister Tamar. For those who don't know, she is a member of the Braxton family. Of course, Tony Braxton, and that family. They've been in the musical business for many, many years. Yeah. Tamar is spinning off of the reality conversation as well, and if you. The whole reality show, I tell you, if you could go count, right? How many entertainers in the reality shows have gone through rehab and suicide? Go look. Is it something about that box that you have to is it, you know what I mean? It's like, go down the list and look at all these people who've been.
Your whole life is in the spotlight. And it's cheap programming.
Yeah,
it's
for
scripted.
The networks,
right?
Your
whole life is scripted. Yeah,
it's cheap programming. So they're trying to line their whole schedule up.
So let me just say this, shows. Right? Glenn, Tamar, y'all got to pray for Tamar. And,
absolutely,
and I never knew who Tamar was, and then one night I was binge watching TV. This was in the last 2 months. I'm up like 3:00 in the morning. I knew she was, but I never watched the show because there's nothing I would watch. So I'm binge watching TV,
reality shows,
and it's a mess. It's a mess, Christian folk. All these Christian jobs. That's look. Listen to me. The type of reality Christian programming makes me glad I quit church, because if this is the kind of nonsense. And these are people that thousands of worshipers of God line up to go see.
Which one what are you talking about?
The Braxtons, man. The Braxtons.
Yeah. They started out as a gospel group.
Yes. Yeah. And, and it's Christian based, and it's just a mess, man. They are just, listen, pray for her.
Do we have a caller?
Because, no, wait, hold on. I don't know if hers is mental illness or just the fact that she woke up and found that she was broke. Okay. They say she ain't got no money right now.
All right, about this.
Okay, let's go back to the phone lines. Hey, you're on the phone line, Don Miller Show.
Hi. I just wanted to make a comment here in reference to the mental illness part and bipolar. Okay, this will get Conway West. And basically everybody, they try to say that only black people are bipolar. That's not true. We all.
Who said that? Who
I've
said
never
that?
heard that.
I ain't never heard that one.
I've never heard that either.
I got a white
You
friend.
could be-
She
You
terrible.
could be nice 1 minute. You could be nice 1 minute and go off the couple of minutes after.
Oh, that
But
was
a
my
lot
grandma.
A lot of these entertainers, they come into money and then they want to buy this, and then they want to date this, and then they want to go this, and you go up so high you don't have anywhere else to go.
Mhm.
Now you're going crazy.
Yeah.
Now you want to commit suicide. It's just like buying love. You done bought him a motorcycle. You done bought him an RV. You done bought him a house. There's nowhere else to go.
It sounds like she talking about something.
It's personal. Yeah, that's personal right now.
Oh, I'm broke, so I didn't do it.
I thought you bought him a motorcycle.
I
Oh,
did
okay.
too.
All right. That wasn't you talking about, huh?
But when you're dealing with bipolar
Yes, ma'am.
situations, like Conway West, it's going to get worse. I mean, now he's into God. He has a
That's a clip right there. Conway West.
that song is with him.
But
And,
ma'am,
you know,
Kanye West was into God before now. When he first
first
came
album.
out,
Mhm.
he was into God.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's the issue. We publicized it more now.
It's just something that he's found to do, and he's going to find something else to do, and it's going to get out of whack. He's not going to have
Gonna.
anywhere else to go. And a lot of people get like that. I mean, they go so high,
So
and then they just fall.
Yes, ma'am. You're right.
So here's my issue with what she said. Because
Thank you so much, caller.
her mental illness doesn't have anything. This is my perception and my experience. Mental illness has nothing to do with your belief in God. When Kanye West came on the scene, he was talking about God.
Sure was.
This is not a new conversation. This is
It
not
is
just
not.
something he decided to do yesterday, right? But that has nothing to do with the fact that he's struggling with mental illness. We have to still get counseling.
Yeah.
Even though we believe in God, we still have to get counseling. And that's the problem in the Black community, Don. Counseling, the word counseling is just like snitch in the Black community. We got this disposition
Really,
about counseling. Why are you looking at me like that, Glenn?
I can't fight you. I can't fight you. I'm not going to fight you on that one, okay?
Wow.
You're right. And it's unfortunate, too, because we keep watching our young people. Kanye West, of course, is just at a bad place. And I'm telling y'all, seriously.
I have a minute clip of him.
Okay, I just hope somebody can go grab this brother. I want to just listen to something. You tell me your thoughts on this.
I'm not trying to quiet your voices, actually. So I don't want to say that in an improper way. I just haven't had the time to word it in the most elegant way possible. So that's a Stephen move. When Harriet Tubman never actually freed the slaves. She just had the slaves go work for other white people.
Y'all, we leaving right now.
Okay, now listen to this, right?
Wow.
He's not well.
He's
not well.
I like Kanye too, man.
He's not
I like Kanye.
well, and he's not educated, and he's not well. Now, let me just say this, right? He's not educated and he's not well. And though that's a heck of a combination.
That is.
Okay. And he has a microphone. And I said the other day, those with these
Tamika, we have a call.
protect your microphones, because he's not educated, not well, and he has a platform. And I'm telling you right now, somebody is loving the fact that Kanye West is spiraling, and he's doing it in the public eye. And please understand, this is a game, guys. This is a game. This is a high-level game. And I don't know who's pulling these strings, but I can assure you that this brother has a whole bunch of people standing up against the wall, encouraging that he continues to spiral. Go ahead, Tamika Page.
Hey, Carl, you're on the Don Miller Show.
I learned a long time ago that certain people everybody shouldn't be privy to your life details.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened with people in the limelight, they go through a lot of the same struggles we go through. It's just that we are not on the big screen. And the thing is that when you share your business, you're inviting way too many people into your life. Everyone's going to have an opinion. Everyone's going to have a suggestion. And I think they become overwhelmed by all of these opinions, although it was a choice that they made. But in addition to that, people elevate celebrities like they're gods. So at one point, they just kind of lose it and they just want more and more. But he should really surround himself, and even everybody, you should really surround yourself with key people who actually care about you, people who knew you from the beginning. And I'm just going to put a plug. That's why I like LeBron James. It seems like he keeps a very tight circle, and the people he grew up with, he made sure they were educated. He has a small circle, and they're doing great things. So they hold one, be there is a bit much.
And they hold one another accountable. I think having a relationship. Thank you so much, caller.
Yep.
I think having someone in your life that you respects enough, right? That you say, yo, homie, come on, bro, let's go for a ride. And just say, dude, you're doing too much. And I think that comes when you have a friend, right? And I'm going to put this on the record. I worked with athletes for more than 20 years, and I was with athletes who were spiraling. And I'll never forget, this athlete was public. Everybody knew who he was, and he was spiraling at a level. And I was sent by my boss at the time, who was a non-African American, right? I say this for a reason. I want you to listen attentively. Go talk to him and get him right. So I'm the young guy, lowest guy on the totem pole. So I go see this guy who's spiraling, right? And I realized that he was making $8 million a year. And somebody was taking 14% of $8 million. Do you really care? Are you really willing to press the button? No, you're not. Because you know the more attention, the more he spirals, the more attention he gets. The more attention he gets, it's great to drop a new album.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think when I saw this up close and personal, now 30, 20 years later, I'm looking at this, right? And I'm saying, Kanye West, nobody loves you right now, man. Nobody. If you love Kanye, if you've been in this industry, Rhyme Fest, and you boys and Shy, man, who I know love that cat, and I know how he played y'all, but that's okay. Y'all need to go get y'all brother, man. Minister Farrakhan and some of the people in the nation that he respects. Y'all need to go get this brother, man. Somebody need to go get Kanye. I promise you, we are watching devastation on the brink, man. And then we're going to say, wow, how, okay. It does not have to happen. Somebody go get this brother. Look, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, turn the corner on another brother who we need to go get too, man. There's another brother out there we need to go get. Look, this is Family Conversation on the Don Miller Show. I understand there are probably some people saying, when are you going to get to the crux of the conversation? Stay with me. We'll be back in a moment.
You're listening to the show on 1680 WOKB.
Major Key.
1680. That's 407-894-1680.
Here we go, Demi.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Don Miller Show. This is where we listen, laugh, and learn. Give us a call. We want to know your thoughts. We are having some conversation about Kanye West and mental illness in
Conway West.
Kanye. What did I not say? Kanye?
No.
Kanye West and
that's a
mental
clip,
mental illness in the Black community. A lot of different angles we're coming at with that. So give us a call. 407-894-1680 is the number to dial. Here's your host, Don Miller.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us again here on the Don Miller Show. I really appreciate you joining us again on Mondays, right? On Tuesdays and Fridays, 12 to 2. I want to really
Jay Morgan on the phone.
I really want to hold on and hit something real quick. We're going to take this call. Jay is on the line. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Thanks for calling.
Good, Don. Yeah, I just wanted to just add a couple of more comments to everything you guys have said is spot on. And of course, accountability is really the key, no matter whether you have money or don't have money.
Absolutely.
You look at the situation with Nick Cannon. Of course, Dwayne Wade came to his rescue. Not that he had, and said, I agree with what he said, but the fact that
Dwayne Wade's a bad dad. Nobody wants to hear from Dwayne Wade. He's a bad dad.
Dwayne Wade is dad of the year.
Dwayne Wade's
along with Irvin Johnson.
Man, come on.
Along with Irvin Johnson. Along with Magic.
No, Magic, I get. Okay. But Dwayne Wade's a bad dad. Sorry. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah. But anyway, one other thing I noticed, even back in high school, coming out in the late 60s and 70s, the drug thing had really started. And I noticed there were a lot of classmates and people that I knew who were very, very smart, but they start dibbling and dabbling in drugs.
All the smart kids.
And some are susceptible to certain drugs will change their whole mental state, and I've seen it happen. And you've seen people who you knew they were bright and whatever. And the next time you see them, they're picking up cigarette butts or whatever, And so,
is that crazy, Glenn? I'm telling you. Thank you, Jay, for that.
Jay
just made a point. Go ahead, Jay. Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, he knows what he's talking
but anyway, But anyway, that was one thing that I noticed, Don. And like I say, everything else you guys are spot on. And we have got to be able to support each other in a loving way. I mean, like I say, we all make mistakes, but we got to quit kicking each other when we're down. And that's a big part of what we do. We see people who are up, and we're so glad when something happens to them, we pounce right on them.
Yeah, but on the same token, but look, I hear you, because I hear you 100%, right? But there's some people need us to pounce on them. Okay, let's be clear. We ain't get discouraged in pouncing, but we just saying certain people don't pounce on them. We can't pounce on Kanye. We can't pounce on Kanye.
John, you pull them aside, brother. You pull them aside and you talk to them.
He's saying there's a way to do it.
You just don't bash them publicly.
Okay.
You don't pour on,
Yeah, let me just say something, right? If you have worked against me and you fail, I'm pouncing on you, okay? Now, see, I ain't getting pulled nobody aside whose mindset already in the beginning is to be against me, right? And there's some people like that who look like us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when somebody who we know is working against us fall, we be like, help him up. He was working against us. No, sir, I'm pouncing. And I'm going to encourage other people. Glenn, come pounce with me. There's some people who look like us who have consistently sold us down the road. Right?
Yes.
I ain't helping them up. I'm sorry.
And you're kind of suspicious of Kanye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're a better Christian than me, sir.
Yeah, but another thing we got to remember now, when Kanye lost his mom, Kanye changed completely. Everybody got to remember that.
No,
and that was seen.
When Kanye lost his mom, that's when Kanye went off the rails. I know.
Can I just tell you something? Let me just say something. The late Dr. West was a brilliant lady who Kanye respected, right? So Dr. West made sure that her son took his medication. You got to understand. There ain't a lot of people Kanye respect like that. But when his mama told him to take his medication, he took his medication. So when that part of his life,
Yeah, and like I said earlier, just because you love God doesn't mean that you don't need to seek counseling and medication when you have certain mental illnesses. And like John said, he may have had that person in his life that held his feet to the fire to make sure that aspect of him was being taken care of. But now he doesn't have anybody. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that he probably doesn't have anybody who cares about him enough to make sure that part of him is being taken care of, and exploiting that instead of helping him.
Absolutely. Shanika's right on it. And Shanika, you are absolutely right about counseling. And I mean, I knew white guys who were proud to say, well, I see my therapist Wednesday, or I saw my therapist Thursday. But as brothers, you're right. We're like, hey man, I ain't talking to nobody about my business.
Right.
No.
All right, guys.
No. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you, Jay.
It's almost offensive to black people to say something.
Glenn, think about this.
He's gone.
He's right. I drink wine with at least 3 white guys who routinely talk to me about their therapist. No joke, right? I'm sitting there with one of these dudes, TL, you know who I'm talking about. And he's like, man, dude, I was in a bad place last week, and I went to see my therapist. I feel so much better. And I'm sitting there like, wow, really, dude?
Yeah, it's normal.
I was in a really bad place. I drove over to see my therapist.
We don't do that.
Normal. No, let me just tell y'all something. I want to shout out my therapist because I got one. Okay,
I have one too. Yes, I do.
I got 2. I got a therapist named Jesus.
Yes, the counselor and the therapist. That's how I distinguish them between the two.
A therapist named Barry. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you sometimes I don't even know Jesus be listening to, right? But Barry does. You follow me? Okay, sometimes I be telling.
Because you don't get through to the counselor.
Sometimes I be talking to Jesus, and it don't get no better. I go see Barry. Give him that $75. I feel much better. Okay, that's real talk, Barry. I just shouted you out, my friend.
Does Barry have a couch or a chair?
Man, Barry got a couch and a chair. You got options. Okay, but he got this little waterfall, right?
Yeah,
it's the smallest waterfall I ever seen.
Yeah,
but it sounds so loud, right? I'm
it did a trip.
My waterfall is 5 feet high. It don't sound as tall as Barry's 10-inch waterfall, right? It be like. You just feel the water in the room. He got one of the rooms you go into. You just want to tell him what's going on, right? I go.
You want to let go, huh?
He don't even start asking questions. I be like, Barry, hey man, no, seriously. But I'm telling you, I have friends, right, who immediately just have a conversation about their counselor, man. And say, hey, I went to my counselor. A friend of mine going through a divorce. We love you, man. We just been encouraging him to get a counselor. And he's a white guy. He really need a counselor. Like really need a counselor, right? But we sat there and we sitting there, having a glass of wine. It was like, yeah, my counselor told me that I'm doing much better. Like, really, dude? Like, this is what we talk about over in the corner. 407-894-1680. I'm telling you, really. I'm like, volunteer. Like, hey, I'm done. Yeah. I got a new count. One dude told me.
Phone call to Nikki's brother Dex.
Got a new count. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Because you got to find the right one,
407-894-1680. Hey, hello, you're on the Don Miller Show.
How we doing now, Mr. Don?
How you doing, my friend?
All righty. Hey, man, I want to know, what would you do if you could not afford your counselor?
That's a therapist. Remember, we distinguish between counselor, that's the wonderful counselor, and then we have a therapist. So you don't need money for the wonderful counselor.
That's the one up there, over there. That's the one that don't respond to me.
Yeah, okay? In the holies of holies.
Okay, the wonderful counselor.
Yeah,
the Lily of the Valley.
The Lily and
the bright morning star.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
just hearing that you were saying that sometimes you talk to that counselor and it don't do no good.
Can I tell you something? And that's what I was just saying. I didn't want nobody to be offended. But I was saying, I talk to that counselor all the time. And it take a minute for me to feel better. But I go see Barry and give him $75. I'll be in the parking lot doing jumping jacks.
Now that's Don's testimony.
Man, I want to say this, man, I find that, in our natural state, man, our natural mind, man, I think and say that we have to be born again and renewed in the spirit of our mind to bring us to the right type of thinking, man. Because all of us are off. All of us are born, and all of us need to be born again to be able to come into the right understanding and the right thinking and be sober-minded, man.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, caller. I think what the caller
God
was
bless
saying
and love
is-
you.
Love you, man. I hear you. But I got to tell you, man, it's funny that was brought up by Jay, because I'm telling you, Glenn, how many of your black guy friends, right,
Yeah.
will tell you they go to a counselor?
None of them will.
But
none of my friends, but the next generation, or like D'Amica and them, they're doing it.
And you know what?
And so it's becoming more common.
And I love
It's
that we
becoming
have
more common.
And I have to be honest, Glenn, I love that you have WOKB has Dr. Hall on this network, and he talks about having a therapist.
He does.
He talks about having, you need to your preacher,
That's what he
your
said.
physician,
Uh-huh.
and your therapist.
That's what he said.
You know, and if you don't have a team, a complete team to deal with the complete person, because we have a natural body and we have a spiritual body. And a lot of times we forget that natural body has to be attended to, Glenn. And I love that we have people out here, doctors and pastors, that are encouraging people.
But it's still a stigma in some.
It is a stigma.
in some families.
It is a
And when
stigma.
you mention that you're going
A
to
lot
a
of families,
therapist,
not some.
people put that in the back of their mind. Oh, he crazy. She crazy. You know.
I continue crazy to not have one.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because, again, I pushed away for years, right, about getting someone. And I'll never forget the first time I went, and I was really kind of feeling some kind of way. See, and I'm telling you, getting a counselor, right, I'm going to try to find an analogy that'll fit. Getting a counselor is real important. You have to get the right counselor.
Oh,
You can't
absolutely.
go to
The right
every
counselor.
counselor.
You got to get the right counselor.
You got to get somebody that fit. Let me think of an analogy.
Okay.
For women. I'll use one for women, right?
Okay.
Getting a counselor is like buying weave, okay? You can't get that silk ponytail if you know your edge is nappy.
Okay.
You follow me?
Okay.
You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay.
D'Amica?
I'm trying to wait it.
Okay.
I'm waiting to hear it all.
You're waiting it
I'm
out.
just, okay. So getting a counselor is like, you know what I mean?
Buying weed for a woman.
It has to fit.
I agree with that.
It has to fit. It has to
Totally.
flow. I'll give you an example. If you're not excited on your drive to see your therapist, you have the wrong
That's a
therapist.
sign.
Okay, you got the yeah.
You
Okay.
got the wrong
I agree
therapist,
with that.
right?
I agree with that.
And I want everybody to understand that is so important. And I look, I'm telling you right now, I don't know where I would be, right, if I didn't have.
So did it feel
my
weird
counselor.
at first when
It
you
was
went?
hard. It was like,
Yes.
and it wasn't Barry then. It was a lady, right? And I love her.
Did it
She's
feel
a sweet
intrusive?
lady.
Was it intrusive?
Let me tell you what happened. So one day, I'm going to see her, right?
Okay.
Her name was Sally, and I love Sally. Okay. I'm going to see her, right? And I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm looking, and I'm talking about very private and personal things
Right.
to a 60-year-old white woman from New Hampshire. No, I'm very serious.
I know.
And I'm leaving there.
Feeling some kind of way.
No, listening, letting her tell me, you know, and I'm like, much as I like you, Sally, I think I need another counselor, right?
It didn't feel right.
So I went through 3 people, and I finally ended up with Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And Barry's a white guy who grew up on the southwest side of Chicago
Mm-hmm.
in a very poor neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
who didn't know his daddy, and his mama worked for the city.
He fits.
Mm-hmm.
And he went
I see.
to public school. He went to University of Illinois, went to Northwestern University, and he went to Stanford, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he gets my base.
Right.
My troubles come from my base.
Right.
You follow me?
Yes.
The things that have made me deal with a struggle don't come from my grown ass man life, but they come from my base. And I think I need someone to understand my base and the struggle I had as a kid in a home without a dad, with the electricity turned off sometime,
Mm-hmm.
with my mama working 2 or 3 jobs sometime. I think I need somebody, not necessarily to have gone through it, but to at least understand that it exists.
Mm-hmm.
My second counselor was a black female
Mm-hmm.
who had not ever heard of that type of scenario because she already had a line in life, right? Nice person,
Mm-hmm.
probably decent counselor for some people, but she didn't fit. So I think finding a counselor is vital to any of us who have these moments.
Mm-hmm.
But finding a counselor who fits. What at what point in your life, at what box in your life did your struggle come about? Like my struggle, the things that hurt me, right? Came between, that's when my life was slammed up against the wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between 8 and 14, domestic violence in the house. I watched my mama get beat up. Okay. The things that hurt me is coming home and there's a man in your house, but your electricity's still off as a 9-year-old, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the things that hurt me came in that box. So I need someone, because when I go to counselor, that's the box I want to talk about.
Right.
I'm still going through some things that
was a result of that.
Box, right? So I'm not talking about the fact that 2 years ago I lost some money, right?
Right.
I want to talk about how can I, because that's what I struggle.
Phone call.
I still have dreams about that box.
Yeah.
I still have dreams about standing at the top of the stairs, watching my mama get beat up at the bottom and couldn't do nothing about it. Hey, let's go to the phone line.
Hey, you're on the Don Miller Show.
Yes. As a minister inside the jail system, I want to say that a lot of things that the male and female were going through, it seems as though the Lord let me go through these things first. And being able to counsel the women and the men, it seems as though the men were great turnout because it was on a volunteer basis. And a lot of mental illness was going on. I was very able to talk to the women. But when you ask in the men area, anybody want to come to counseling, anybody want to come to church service, the men were outnumbered. They were there. But let me ask you a question. Why do they throw this away when they are released? Because we're also trying to keep this going inside the churches because a lot of people can't come inside jail. So we're asking the churches to have what you call an aftercare, to talk with these people, to help them understand how to go to church, sit in church, and take these, blessings you're receiving home.
But ma'am, guess what? Just like it's got to be the right counselor, it's got to be the right church.
True.
Okay? Got to be the right church.
Why do you think they even throw the Bibles away before they leave the compound?
I'm telling you, I went up to speak at the prison, right? Up near Stark, Florida, years ago. And one of the people who worked there told me, when these guys, this is an interesting distinction. I want you to remember I told you this. When these guys leave jail, right? They find so many Bibles, am I right?
True.
Strawn away. But they rarely find a Quran.
True. Okay.
Thank you so much, Colin. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. It's 57 after the hour. We'll be back in a moment. The Don Miller Show, Tuesdays and Fridays, 12 to 2. Right? 12 to 2, guys. 12 to 2. Head over to DonMillerShow.com. Follow us on Twitter, The Don Miller Show. On Instagram, The Don Miller Show. Glenn Allgood, D'Amica Page says we'll be back in a moment.
Sometimes it calls me sugar.
opportunity to connect. But as many of you
Stop
know,
that, Glenn.
I
Stop that and get that ready. And I'll tell you why I want to do. I wanted to say something. Now listen to this. Watch this. Before I go into that conversation, I want to finish this conversation, right? But that's a conversation that's going to ride out. Are we back live, Mika Page?
Yeah.
Because that's a conversation that's going to ride out. Now, let me just say this, right? The reason, and I want to thank, hold on, let me see. I want to thank George for sending me this message. I went to counseling without anybody urging me to go.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you why I went to counseling. And y'all gonna think this is crazy. I went to counseling because someone that I was in a relationship with told me I was overbearing and overprotective. And consistently said I was overbearing and overprotective. We had serious arguments about me being overbearing and overprotective. Not paying attention, nope. Not cheating, nope. Not running around, nope. But being overbearing and overprotective. She had issue with that, right? So I went to counseling, right? And
it was a deal-breaking issue. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Okay.
That's what it seems like.
I went to counseling because someone told me I was over the top. So I go to counseling, and I told you just now before the break, I went to 3 different counselors before I found the one that fit, right? And what I found out about myself, right, is that I am overbearing and overprotective. Didn't know it. Never even realized it, right? And finally, I found a counselor who says to me, this is where that comes from. Because I couldn't protect my mama when I wanted to the most.
Gotcha.
I couldn't do nothing, Glenn. I was a kid, and he was beating my mama up all the time, and I couldn't do nothing, right?
Yeah.
So when I love someone, I'm on you. Look, Tamika Page will tell y'all right now, I get on her nerves. Yes?
Yes.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Am I overbearing
You're
and overprotective?
overbearing and overprotective.
Yeah. No question. Seriously, my pastor would tell y'all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ask her. Carter Jean Johnson, don't even get it. The point that I make is I couldn't protect my mama. I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I couldn't do nothing. So I want to protect the people I love. Glenn, you know, if you call me 3:30 in the morning, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
You got me.
You should want to protect the people you love. But sometime when you come from a certain situation, as I did, watching my mama get choked out by the stove, couldn't do nothing, man. Get a counselor. Go find somebody you could talk to. Listen, we can already be joined on the show by one of my favorite counselors. She is one of the best in the business. She's a great friend of the show. We're waiting for her to reach out to us momentarily. But I got to tell you, if we think that we are above getting some help, then something's wrong with us right there. I'm telling you right now, I struggle. I got a problem. I'm still overbearing, overprotective. And I want to shake it, Glenn. I want to act like I don't care sometimes, man. I want to be like, you know what? Whatever, okay? Whatever you want to do, that's on you, right? Mm-hmm. I want to say it, man. I want to be like, you know what? I ain't even tripping, right? But it's hard if you love someone. But it's as equally hard. Look, I just lost a friend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the best friend my best friend. Okay.
Yep. Like a brother.
Let's just lost him, right, Glenn?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he told me I was too much. And he's a man, right? Remember, D'Amica?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm good. Remember you say that?
Mm-hmm.
Because I love my friend. Yo, man, you good? What's going on? Dude, leave me alone. I'm good, Don.
Yes, he did.
His widow just sent me a message the other day. It was like, I missed the way y'all used to fight. Because I'd ask him questions that nobody else out of 5,000 people who work for him would ask him. Like, did you take your medication, dude?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I loved him.
He was a good guy, bro.
Great dude. The best
That's for
ever,
real.
right? And that's what friends do.
Right.
Let's go bring our guest on the show. Hey, everybody, streaming on the Facebook Live or YouTube channel. Our guest in the studio by whatever means this is, by video, is my good friend. She is one of my favorite counselors. And when you say counselor, she got the whole package. She is the dual threat.
Is she calling in?
She is the C.
No,
She's on
she
us.
needs
She's on the
to-
stream.
So
But she needs to call in though.
right.
Shelly, can you call in?
Sure. Call
407
Glenn.
yeah. Okay. You need to call in. Hold on one second, ma'am.
Hold on. Okay.
I didn't know how it
If she
works.
can have her headset on if she
Okay,
wants to, and
Yeah, that gives you both.
call-
That gives you
yeah.
both ways to talk to us.
yeah,
okay?
so the 1680 listeners can hear
Absolutely.
her.
We need the
and-
radio to hear you. That's a very
and
Gotta
they'll
hear
be able
Shelly
to-
Fan. Gotta hear.
That's a very good point, Shelly. We need the radio to hear you as well.
because those are our callers.
Okay, 407-894-1680. But I'm telling you right now, so I know my breakthrough was just finding out why I was tripping. You know, you got to figure out what your breakthrough gonna be.
Right.
My breakthrough was when I drove home from seeing my counselor, right? Drove home from seeing my counselor, okay? And it hit me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Just like that.
I was tripping. I just
Because you didn't make those connections. And sometimes it takes
Man,
people
dude.
outside of our situation,
Yeah,
Don,
I was tripping.
to help us make those connections.
That you can't see it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why I love going to therapy as well, because they help us to make those connections and see how it's showing up in our lives today.
Right,
you know what I
right.
mean?
Mhm.
And that's huge. And I know we have Gary Haskell, who has spent a lot of time in prison, and he's been listening to the conversation and wanted to chime in too.
Is he on the air?
At some point? No, I
Okay,
think
we
he's
look
going to
forward to that
call in.
because I'm telling you right now, you know, it's funny because my grandma, I go all the way, maybe not even my grandma, my mama too, used to say, you don't need to go to no counselor. All you need is Counselor Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, okay, all right, just Counselor Jesus.
And I think that's why a lot of people, in addition to men not liking the idea of going to therapists, but I also find a lot of Christian folk, and I'm sure Miss Fanfan can speak to that as well. But a lot of Christians, Don, aren't going to therapy, and it's really needed.
With Shelly.
We get that spiritual aspect from our churches and our pastors, but sometimes we need that. We
Okay,
need
listen.
the emotional.
Our guest, the CEO and founder of Ask Shelly Consulting, right?
Yes.
A team of emotional intelligence experts that work with individuals, couples, families, corporations that provide psychoeducation to assist with achieving peak performance. Our guest, my good friend of the show, been on the show. We can't even count how many times. Our good friend, Shelly Fanfan. Hey.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Shelly's on our
today?
stream for those of us who have listened to the show. Never seen Shelly. She looked like she don't look like she normally look. She normally have her hair down and all kind of little, you know what I mean, Glenn? She didn't look like Shelly the counselor. You must be working today. I should be Diva, the Shelly the Diva. That's 2 days a week, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us, Shelly.
Of
We're
course.
talking about the need for counseling as we watch the spiral of Kanye West, right? And it's just frightening to me because I've seen this before. Many of us have seen it before. When you see this in your position, okay, what do you take from it?
Well, it's something that we see all the time, especially in our community. It's an overlooking of symptomology that is directly related to mental illness. We have gotten into a place in our society where we have normalized abnormalities. We've normalized it. And so we expect this stuff from Kanye, right? We expect this, kind of irrational behavior and him being way out the box. And I saw the clip about him re-educating people on truly what Harriet Tubman did. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, awesome. And so, but this is mental illness at its worst. And this is what unresolved emotional injury does. What happens is that got it.
I hear you.
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys can hear me.
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you very well. Yep.
So often what people do is they ignore emotional injury, whether they realize that it's there and don't do anything about it, or are not aware that what they're seeing is emotional injury. When we're talking about mental illness, a lot of the times we are able to identify mental illness. We're talking about the
maybe Shelly needs to mute hers.
Miss Fan, did you mute your laptop?
Can you mute your laptop?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Then that'll
okay.
Clear
We okay now? Over there, Zay?
Awesome.
Okay, so we should be fine. Go ahead.
Okay, is it okay that it's muted?
Yes, we're good. Yep, go ahead.
Yep. Okay. Because you're coming through the radio station.
You're talking about emotional injury. Go ahead.
All right. And so when we're talking about mental illness, I think a lot of times people get it when we're talking about the gentleman, out in front of the 7-Eleven who's talking to himself and self-stimulating with his fingers. We clearly understand that. But many people count themselves out when we're talking about mental illness, because once they hear it, they say, that's not me. Mm-hmm. Mental illness falls within a spectrum that starts with very minor emotional disturbances all the way to severe and persistent mental illness. Most of us fall within this spectrum. So what we do, though, is because most of us are very resilient, we can continue to work, we can continue to parent, we could be the wife, we could be the husband, we can provide. We mistaken our ability to function with being healed. You can continue to function and produce and be fruitful, but not be healed. Mental illness, emotional injury is one of those things that will allow you to continue to do your thing through your 20s, through your 30s, through your 40s, but eventually it gets to a point where you cannot ignore it anymore. We will never be able, in terms of success, we will never be able to bypass the level of our wellness. Our level of success will always be capped by our level of our wellness. And so we have to stop normalizing things that are abnormal, like our inability to sleep, 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep. These are things that many of us don't get. Commitment issues, not able to make decisions, your need to overeat in order to feel better, your inability to take your anxiety from a 10 to a 4, your inability to manage your anger, your inability to use your words to express how you feel. These are all different forms of emotional injury. Your low self-esteem, the fact that you're not able to produce good thoughts about yourself, when your internal dialogue is echoing the abuse of past perpetrators, all of it are forms of emotional injury. And if we do not open our minds to the fact that we are experiencing these things, we will never get healing. Even in this time when we're talking about what our people need to do to truly address these inequity issues and these inequality issues, we have to make sure that we are healed as a people, right?
Right.
The first stage in healing is exposure. That's awareness, to be able to understand that it is not normal that I'm happy one moment and pissed off the next. It's not normal that everyone in your family finds being around you to be quite aversive. It's not normal that you're not able to maintain healthy relationships with other women or being able to maintain a platonic relationship with a man. These things are not normal. We have to stop normalizing abnormalities and get the healing and the help that we need.
Ms. Van, I just want you to speak real quickly too. Also, in addition to all of that, right? if you could speak to the fact that a lot, because let's be clear, most African Americans in this country attend church more than any other race in the U.S. And if you could speak to the fact that a lot of us who are Christians believe that just by believing in God, that we're getting everything we need and neglecting to get therapy or counseling when we still see these things that you just mentioned showing up in our lives.
I say this all the time, and this is not to offend anybody. I am a believer, ordained minister, and I'm going to tell you the most challenging clients I have are believers.
See?
Because they have a very hard time understanding that we have a responsibility to get healed in the natural. There are things in this earth like counselors and therapy, and in some cases, medication to assist us with truly achieving the wholeness and the capacity to live out our purposes in the earth. God can only put his super on our natural. We have a responsibility to do everything that we can in the natural to get well and to get whole. Am I saying that the anointing of God is not enough? Absolutely, that is not what I'm saying. But we have the responsibility to make sure that we're doing all that we can to assure that we are operating in full purpose. And it's funny that you should talk about church, because a lot of the times, the churches that we are planted in are exacerbating our emotional injury.
Please say that, Miss Fan. Please say it again. Please say that again.
A lot of the times I thought I was in trouble for saying I was like,
no, not with me.
But it's true. When we're talking about where we are planted, a lot of the times where we are planted is exacerbating the church, the emotional injury. It's exacerbating the emotional injury because we are under the leadership of toxic leaders that are them too disturbed, have personality issues, have false understanding of their importance. This acquired sense of importance, this acquired false sense of importance and superiority has caused them to make their members feel like they are inferior. People cannot learn in areas and situations where they are not safe. Because when you are not safe, your survival brain is activated, which suppresses your ability to think and absorb new information. Why we are bound, why the people of God are bound is because they need new information. But the reason why they can't receive new information from you is because you're not a safe leader. You are in the pulpit preaching about the issues that you know about amongst your membership, and you're using this as a subtle way, a passive-aggressive way to address the issues in your church. How dare you make a sermon topic something that was related to a counseling session you had with membership the night before? We have to remember that we are planting ourselves in very healthy places, and not only just in church, in our relationships, in our workspaces. We have the responsibility to make sure that we are maximizing health and wellness in every single domain of our lives, which also includes church.
407-894-1680, number to dial. Our guest is Shelly Fan. You can head over to Ask Shelly, SCHELLIE.com, AskShelly.com. She's the CEO of Ask Shelly Counseling Services. And I got to tell you, of course, every time you come on the show, I learn something. And it's just amazing because, Shelly, you and I have been friends a long time, and I see how you live your life. And it's amazing when you see somebody who's running to have this conversation and they're living their life like they really care about the conversation they're having. And I think it's important. I've sent you clients for years, and I thank you so much because you are the type of person, seriously, if you're afraid to go engage with somebody, your first person should be somebody who can really just sit back and have a conversation with you. You don't want to be, sometimes that first meeting can end the meetings forever, right? And I can tell you, sometimes first time you go got to be a home run. And the therapy business and the counseling, the first time you go got to be a home run. So because anything can throw it off forever. And most people who have a bad experience the first time never go back.
Especially if you're already suspect about the process anyway.
Right. Go ahead.
So I have two questions, Don.
You
So
always have
there's
questions.
there's a question in our stream from one of our listeners. I want to at least get one of these questions in. One person is saying that could it be that a lot of people, especially Black men, may not be open to the idea of counseling because they're asking, are there certain diagnoses that may block someone from getting life insurance or a legal firearm? And could that could you see someone not wanting to be inaccurately labeled mentally ill or or whatever for maybe those particular reasons is what's being asked? Hold on, Miss Fan Fan. Okay, there you go.
Go ahead, Shelly.
Go ahead
Okay.
now.
You guys can hear me okay?
Oh, we lost our audio.
Glenn, is that Glenn over there? Somebody? Hold on, Shelly.
It was doing good.
Ask Glenn, Zay.
Can you speak now?
Test.
Okay.
No.
Hold on a second. Glenn, did you press a button? Shelly has no audio. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Can
Is she on now?
Nope.
No, I haven't done anything.
Okay, so maybe we lost the audio. I don't know. I just do a
What
show.
happened?
Oh man, it was working so good.
Oh, they can?
Okay,
Why can't
okay,
we
they can
hear
hear
her?
it, but that's okay. Fine, keep going. Keep going. We can hear you on Facebook. Go ahead.
We have nothing.
How about now?
Oh,
Yes.
there we go.
Great. Okay.
Okay, you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I'm so sorry. All right. So
I'm gonna send you a cord in the mail. That's your cord.
That's what it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
So I never use this thing.
Okay.
It just happened to be right in front of me in this moment. So we are in National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month.
Absolutely. Yes, we are.
Yes. And so part of the awareness that we are trying to bring forth is the fact that people of color are often misdiagnosed, and they are misdiagnosed at high frequencies. An example of what that looks like is a woman going in for help and being constantly told that her main issues are anger issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not necessarily a diagnosis, but it can be something that is a target for treatment. When in actuality, the manifestations of anger are truly rooted in depression, but they won't be treated for the depression, but they would be treated as if it's some type of anger issue. And so we see that a lot in children who are being diagnosed with ADHD, and they are misdiagnosing the trauma that children experience, or they're being diagnosed with oppositional defiant disorder, and people are not necessarily acknowledging the trauma that the child has experienced. So is it possible that misdiagnoses happen? And the answer is yes. But that can happen anywhere you go. I don't know how many times that there was a time that I went to the doctor and almost died. Every time I went, week after week, I was diagnosed with bronchitis, and it was really pneumonia. So in order to avoid that, you want to make sure that you are aligning yourself with individuals that have an expertise in working with people of color, if you are a person of color, and making sure that you are aligning yourself with a professional that you're not going to because you can afford. You're going to get what you pay for. So the time that you take to vet out someone who has that experience and the anointed to truly diagnose your issues and make sure that there's a treatment plan that's developed to help you to heal, that's the best way to do so. You don't go to an eye doctor for braces, right? So you want to make sure that whatever your issues are, that you are aligning yourself with a therapist that has the expertise with that issue. So if it's a relationship marriage, you go to a marriage therapist. If you're dealing with relationship trauma, go to a relationship trauma expert. If it's depression and anxiety or substance abuse, you want to make sure that you are aligning yourself with a provider that's within that the sphere or whatever the issues that you are dealing with. Can you be diagnosed with something that can potentially harm you if you wanted to get a concealed weapons license and things of that nature? I don't know the criteria completely. I would have to research that, but I think that possibility is limited. What we do is we allow the slight possibility for undesired outcomes to keep us from flowing in our healing.
Absolutely. No question. You look for a reason. You look for a reason.
Exactly. So, the chances of you be labeling I mean, we're labeled now. We label you Black. We label you Hispanic. We got labels. I mean, you got to do what's best for you. You have the right to be well. You have the right to not be, to be able to turn your thoughts off and have a good night's rest. You have the right to have fruitful relationships. You have the right to engage in present.
I love Shelly.
So you have to be able to be open to get the help that you need to overcome your emotional issues, and making sure that you prioritize that over all else. There's probabilities of everything. There's a possibility that I can walk out and, God forbid, get hit by lightning. But the probabilities are very low. The probability of you getting healed is quite higher. So go with that.
Wow. I love it. I love it.
I got two questions.
Go for it, man. Because I'm just, every time she come on here,
man, I love you, Shelly.
Okay.
Things make a whole bunch of sense. I love how she talks. What type of, if we're going looking for people to help us, what type of certification or credential should we look for? And is mental health counseling, can you find it in the hood? Is it affordable? Because we had one caller that said, what if you don't have the money to get it? What are mental health counselors addressing that?
And that is unfortunate because it's true. There are, you got to pay for it. I used to run my business like a ministry.
I remember you was broke.
And then I had to get
that was broke, Shelly.
And I had to get Don Miller to say, listen, is this a charity or a business? Let's do this.
Absolutely.
But it's difficult because this is a lot of what our marches are about, right? Just, not having access to resources in those marginalized communities. And so can they get therapy in the hood?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, you can. However, you want to make sure that you are aligning yourself with someone who has the certification and the expertise. I know that there are a lot of, coaching is a big thing right now, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I don't have any comments on that. But
I will when you off the phone.
But I want to say that if you are experiencing emotional issues and it's something that's more psychologically based,
Andrew Gillum,
you get someone that has the training to bring you out. Coaching is usually surrounding one particular area or domain in our life, like a business coach or a intimacy coach, right?
Yes.
A lot of the times we experience an array of issues, and you want to make sure that you are aligning yourself with a person that understands those evidence-based. We don't give advice. I don't charge $145 for advice. It is evidence-based interventions that will break your behavioral patterns, your thought patterns. That is what you need. So making sure that you are vetting out the most credentialed person that advertises the experience with what you need is important. We do have amazing therapists, even in the hood. You just have to make sure that you take the time to do the research. Now, when it comes to affordability, a lot of practices will offer a sliding scale fee.
Right.
You want to make sure that you ask for that. And you say, you know what, I don't have insurance. I cannot afford your fee. Is there any way that I can, formally communicate a financial hardship? I really, really want this service. I probably shouldn't be saying this on the radio, but I do have clients that are paying as little as $60 or $50. And, obviously we have a certain amount of people that we can support and do that because we got to keep the lights on, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most practices will have a sliding scale fee. They may not advertise it, so it's important to ask to assure that you can arrive at a cost that you can afford. I will say, though, Lord, please forgive me. When we start talking about affordability, we have a way to afford our hair.
I was about to say that.
We have the way to afford those eyelashes, afford getting your car hand washed, men, getting your rim shine. And listen, one of the things what you cannot afford is a breakdown. You cannot afford to be driving in your car at night and all of a sudden start experiencing auditory hallucination. These are voices that only you can hear. You cannot afford to wake up one morning and see no purpose in your life, and the only option that you entertain is taking your life. We make it seem like it's something that just, sometimes it doesn't get, it could be very, breakdowns are not planned. For some people, there are early warning signs, and for some people, it just happens. No early warning signs. So what you cannot afford is a breakdown. And it's important to make sure that you are sowing where you want to go. You want to sow your money to what you are prioritizing, and it will always pay off. You are worth it. We are worth it. We have the right, a blood-born right, to be whole. And so before you start declaring that you can't afford it, just know you can make it work. Just like you make it when you're trying to pay your light bill or whatever else, you make it work. We can make it work. Make it work. Pay the $100 a week. Pay it. Pay the $150, whatever it is. You are worth it.
Listen, thank you so much, Shelly, for joining us. Head over to Ask ASK, Shelly, SCHELLIE.com, AskShelly.com. Our guest, Shelly Fanfan, she's the CEO of Ask Shelly Consulting. I love you. Thank you so much. We love you on this show. You know that, right, Glenn?
Yes. Thanks, Shelly. Love you, Shelly.
So head over to AskShelly.com. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Man, listen, I love her. You know how many guests you get on here, you just sit back and be like, I'm just going here and let her do that. Just 20, 30 minutes. We need that in our lives. We need that. We also cannot be ashamed of seeking counseling. We cannot. When I come back, I want to tell you about somebody who needs some counseling right now and quite frankly is being pimped by a system who never cared about him in the first place. We'll be back right after this.
We'll know all about it.
everyone. Welcome back to the Don Miller Show. I hope you guys are enjoying this conversation. It has definitely been a delight to me and us in the studio. Give us a call, 407-894-1680. If you have anything that you want to add to our conversation about mental health in the Black community. Here's your host, Don Miller.
Thank you so much, Tamika Page. And of course, thank you, Glenn Allgood. But we'd like to also thank our guest, Shelly Fanfan from AskShelly.com. She's always on point. And she brings the conversation, unlike very few people in that box will bring it. And she knows she's wearing a lot of hats, so she kind of understands it across the board. Listen, I want to hit something real quick, right? Shelly mentioned the difference between therapist, counseling, and coaching.
Yes.
There's a whole bunch of people out here talking about their coaching, okay? I got a friend who's got a life coach, and she paid this lady money, okay? Let me tell you what a life coach is, okay? A life coach is nothing but a cheerleader, okay? Listen to me. Life coach, let me tell you what happened when I went to get me a life coach, right? I decided, somebody told me, you need a life coach. I went and got me a life coach, right? You can do it, okay? That's what I got from my life coach. Okay, you can do it.
So you had a life coach?
Let me tell you
You
what
paid
happened, right?
someone to be a life coach.
I was told I needed a life coach. So I went and got this life coach, right? So, and Glenn, I'm going to tell y'all, look, I'm not being pompous or I'm telling a story. Sometimes people think I be being pompous and arrogant, okay? But tell the story, Glenn, right?
Okay.
So I go to lunch with my life coach, right? Meet at this little restaurant. Okay, got an outdoor cafe, right? So we meet at this little restaurant, right? So I get there early. I pull up, I park, and I'm waiting for my life coach who's going to teach me how to be a better businessman.
Yeah.
Have a better life.
That's right.
Life coach.
Life coach.
Life coach, right?
Life coach for Don Miller.
So I pull up in my Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. I'm ready to be taught how to be better and make more money, right? My life coach pulls up in a 20-year-old Tercel with duct tape on the door. My life coach, right? My life coach gets out of the car with the raggediest outfit on and proceeds to sit down with me and tell me how I can engage people better. My life coach told me to get rid of my goatee if I was going to really grow up the ladder in corporate America.
Get rid of your goatee.
Get rid of your goatee.
I heard that before.
Okay.
I heard of that.
So, okay. What is the criteria to be a life coach? Okay. What's a life coach? And my life coach told me all this and expected me to pay. I was supposed to pay this lady, right? Like $250 a month. And she would. Come on, y'all. It was horrible. Ma'am, life coach? So anyway, right? So I'm listening to this lady. She's like, look, I'm telling you, I've worked in corporate America and I left my job to become a life coach. And I'm saying to myself, you better get your job back because your car get ready to break down. Okay. You left your job to become a life coach. You might want to get your job back. It's like, what is a life coach? I think I want to be one. And this is why when you heard what Shelly said, right? Come on, what is it? It's a cheerleader, Glenn.
Uh-huh.
Glenn,
Yeah.
I got a friend. She's
Yeah.
a life coach.
Yeah.
She got the absolute raggediest life.
Stop playing it.
My friend has a life coach.
gosh.
I'm not going to say her name, so y'all ain't got to worry, but y'all know what I'm talking about. She's a life coach, right? Left her job, became a life coach, right? And she got 3 kids, and she got 3 baby daddies, right? And she's still trying to get child support from one of them, right? But whose life can you coach? Or maybe I'm missing some. Maybe you can't. You're better at coaching other lives if your life is raggedy. And she's like, yeah, I'm a life coach. You know, I got my life coach certification. And where do they pass those out at? Okay.
Most of them are online organizations.
Okay, I want to be a life coach. Okay, I'm telling you right now.
She's had real life adversities that would qualify
her to coach,
and she thinks that.
Well, okay.
You can't baby daddy shame her.
No, I'm not baby daddy shaming her, right?
Baby daddy shame.
She had 3.
Okay, but what I am gonna do.
Oh my goodness.
What I am gonna do today on the Don Miller Show, Jay, our caller in the first half, said about piling on.
He
Don't
did.
kick nobody when they down.
You can't kick them when they're down.
I'm gonna play a clip. Play this clip,
Oh,
okay?
boy.
Because there's somebody I want to kick right now.
Why, man?
407-894-1680. There's somebody I want to kick.
Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Gillum. I know it's been a while since we've had an opportunity to connect. But as many of you know, I decided to take some time away.
You did not decide. Stop.
Myself.
come on, Don.
Stop.
Come on,
Stop.
Don.
Pause it. Pause it. You did not decide, Andrew Gillum.
He said he decided to take some time
Okay.
away.
He did not decide. It was decided for him. If you get caught with methamphetamine,
it's decided for
and you butt naked with a gay male top prostitute.
I wonder where his wife thought he was.
Wait. Gay male top prostitute, right? Okay? You didn't decide. It was decided for you. Play the, go ahead. I'm finna cut him.
There were some issues that I was having. I went away to rehab to focus on my issues with alcoholism.
Stop.
I've
been with Andrew Gillum, y'all. Met the brother. He wouldn't even have a drink. Did anybody mention alcohol in that room? Did anybody who saw that video that I saw see a bunch of alcohol in that room? But what we did see was narcotics. Let's see if he mentions that. Go ahead.
Connect. But as many of you know, I decided to take some time away to work on myself, deal with some issues that I was having. I went away to rehab to focus on my issues with alcoholism. Having grown up in a household where my father battled addiction to alcohol and later died from complications from that deadly addiction. I know well the toll that alcohol can take on not only
Stop. Andrew, really? Really, Glenn? And I know y'all love Andrew
He's
Gillum.
trying.
I know y'all love Andrew
He's
Gillum,
trying
man.
to squirm his way. He's trying to get out.
But he's not going to mention the drugs. So the drugs ain't coming in this. Wow.
Because the drugs apparently weren't his.
Okay.
Allegedly weren't his.
Okay. Allegedly,
the alcohol addiction he's claiming.
Okay.
Not the drugs.
Not the drugs.
He doesn't even mention the drug.
Did you know how drunk you got to be to find yourself butt naked with a homosexual top?
What's a homosexual top? I don't understand.
Okay, there's a bottom and a top in that life. Okay. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Listen to me. You know how drunk you got to be to find yourself butt naked in the room with a homosexual top with pills? Listen to me. Andrew Gillum, take several seats.
A soiled mattress, too.
Yes. Take several seats, Mr. Andrew, and give us that money back that you could have been the governor.
What,
but I'm glad he
almost a
ain't
million?
the governor.
More than $1 million?
More than $1 million.
He left on
Andrew
the table.
Gillum, in one of the tightest gubernatorial races in the history of Florida, probably the tightest, left that with $1 million. Didn't even spend $1 million. That $1 million could have put him over the top. It was a close race.
Ron DeSantis was shaking in his boots.
Ron DeSantis didn't even have money at the end. But Andrew Gillum had over $1 million. And he kept $1 million. He's already spent $1 million on his legal fees. Listen to me, man. Look, I don't know who's coaching Andrew. Listen to me. I don't know if he got a life coach. I'm telling you right now. But look, Andrew, you need to get a life coach or somebody, man, because
We know you think you are the best. So this will put you to our best.
somebody need to get Andrew, man. We going out to get these brothers. Somebody need to get Andrew. And all you rattlers who run it up behind Andrew Gillum. Right? Glenn, you was there when he was there, right?
That's right.
You were there. All I'm saying is somebody need to get Andrew Gillum, man, because what made this brother think, right? It was a good idea a few months later, right, to come out with this cockamamie conversation with his wife and those beautiful babies behind him on pictures.
Beautiful babies.
What made this brother think, right, that was just okay? Andrew is not okay. But let me tell y'all something about politics. Somebody told Andrew he had to do it because Florida was going to be tight.
He said it was PTSD after his traumatic loss.
I'm sure.
That's what he said.
So
Don.
he kept $1
That's what he
million,
said.
right?
That's what he
He
said.
talked a
He kept
lot.
$1 million.
And you know what he kept that $1 million for? We call that making plans. That was making reservations to go use.
He talked, but
Yeah, he was
That's street terminology,
That's
right?
making plans. Yeah.
Okay.
he talked a lot about mental health in the African American community. He talked a lot about depression and and not being able to handle the loss of the election. So he really
Wait, let me just say this again.
He really put a lot of effort into spinning into a conversation about mental health and the fact
This is your friend Angela Don.
to be comfortable with getting counseling.
Let me just say this about
She likes to fight with you.
say this about Andrew Gillum. And Andrew Gillum, listen, I got to do this because I said in the previous segment, right? First half of the show.
What did you say?
If you don't treat us right and you fall, the rest of you Christian folk might be trying to help people. This dude need to go. Andrew Gillum say he was depressed from losing, but there were $1 million left in the election in his bank account, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't take that whole $1 million and spend it on commercial advertising, putting people out, taking people to the polls in the tightest gubernatorial race in the history of the state. And the other guy is running out of money. I don't know what campaign conversation Andrew comes from. Andrew, go find somewhere and get your life together, man. And any of you Negroes who think it's okay, right, to run up behind this lying ass fake politician who kept people's money when he could have fought to the end. Yeah. You are a stupid idiot to support this guy. He need to go figure his life out. I'm not saying he can't come back, but he 2-3 months later.
We didn't know. Addicts are great at hiding.
But let me just say
addicts are great at hiding,
Absolutely,
Don Miller.
dude. We did know, okay? The problem is we didn't find Andrew Gillum somewhere high on cocaine. We didn't find Andrew Gillum on a DUI or sleep in his car in a parking lot one night. We found Andrew Gillum, a married black man with 3 babies in a hotel room with a homosexual power top.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. I said it right on the damn radio. We found Andrew Gillum, a married black man, not with a DUI. That happens. Not high on cocaine. That happens as well. But we found a married black man who was in the tightest race in the history of the state of Florida for governor's race in our lifetime.
He could have won.
Who kept $1 million. We found him in a hotel with a homosexual power top and methamphetamine. I'm sorry, black folks. Sometimes we got to let some of them go.
Gotta call it.
Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, you on the Don Miller Show. Some of these people got to go. Andrew got to go. Go. Hello, ma'am. How you doing?
You know what, Mr. Miller? I know you're probably not your brother's keeper.
Hell no, not this brother.
Okay, so I just wanna make a statement to you. It said, "Eve without sin, let him cast."
Get that nonsense off this show. You know you don't call it with them scriptures. You
know.
don't even understand that scripture yourself. You don't understand the context of that scripture.
You know what, Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
You need to stop.
No, you need to stop because you're a low-informed Christian.
Seriously, Mr. Miller.
He who has not sinned, don't cast. You don't even understand the context of that.
This is great.
You really need to calm down about this.
Were you disappointed when Andrew lost? Let me ask you that question. Were you disappointed?
I can't even hear you. You're making so much noise.
Okay. Were you disappointed when Andrew Gillum lost?
Yes.
Did you vote for Andrew?
You know what?
Did you vote for him?
Andrew Gillum. Listen.
Did you vote for him?
Mr. Miller. Andrew Gillum is a human being. He's
Oh,
a man.
That's how they get
He's
us
a
with the
man.
human being
And
curveball.
Mr. Miller, you don't know where you're going to be in a
I will not be in a hotel room with a homosexual top and methamphetamine.
We cannot continue to throw our people under the bus.
Wow. Listen, he threw himself under the bus. Wow.
But at the same time, Mr. Miller.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Miller.
Mhm.
Mr. Miller, I really wish that you would just take a step back.
Do you want to get R. Kelly out of jail? You want to help us get R. Kelly out of jail?
Wow.
Do you want to?
Mr. Miller, I cannot hear you.
Okay, hey.
Because you are making so much noise.
Would you like to help us? Would you like to help us get R. Would you like to help us get R. Kelly out of jail?
I don't know what you are actually
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. You want to call it?
But
Yes,
I want you to know that we got to stop this. We
Okay.
got to stop tearing each other down. Even when somebody's wrong, it's just not.
Okay,
cool.
get off the phone. You just said the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
berating
Thank you. Goodbye. Call back next time.
She wouldn't let you rattle her.
No, I wasn't going to rattle her, but she said even if they're wrong, we need to uphold them. Listen to me, ma'am. Sorry, wrong show. There's a Christian show coming on in about 2 hours.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait,
But I
whoa,
know what
whoa,
she's
whoa,
saying.
whoa,
No,
whoa,
no.
wait a minute. Don't do that.
The Bible
Don't
says
do that.
look beyond their faults and see their needs.
Don't do that.
Probably what
Don't
she
do
means.
that.
Check out
Don't
Lady.
do that.
Check out Lady.
Don't do that.
What, D'Amico?
Don't do that.
Check out Lady
Don't
Trina.
act like that's a Christian thing to call wrong right and to call right wrong. That is not biblical at all. And don't try to pretend like that's something Christian. It is not. It's not biblically based at all. Anybody can take a particular scripture and then wrap it around and make and pretend like that's No, it's not. We don't call, there's nothing in the Bible that says that you call right wrong or you uphold wrong.
Well, thank you so much, caller. No, this is my problem.
You can come up with a different way to cover that or to
Okay.
but-
Let me
but
just say
not
something.
that.
Okay. Let me just say this. There's some things, and I thank the caller so much.
Got two good calls.
Let's go to the phone lines. Hey, you're on the Don Miller Show. How you doing?
Hey, Don.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Hey, man, one quick question, man. Is that how your counseling sessions go?
Yeah. Absolutely.
At least that one was free, man.
Absolutely, man. Listen, hey, thank you so much, man. You roll up on Don Miller, it ain't gonna end properly. Okay. Hey, what the tight mic call me?
Don Miller, the ignorance killer.
Absolutely. I will always heed to that name. Don Miller, the ignorance killer.
She was trying to reason with you,
No,
Don.
she's trying to defend.
She was trying to reason with you.
She's trying to defend ridiculousness. We don't do that on the Hour of Power. Hey, you on the Don Miller Show, caller. How you doing today?
Hey, Don, how you doing, man?
How you doing, my friend?
Y'all got a great show today. I just want to say to the last caller, man, she sounded like she was hurting and sounded like she was close to something of that nature in her personal life, whether it may be with some of her children or whatever. But we have to understand that we can't restore people back to the position. Now, we can forgive them, but they have to step down, and we have to allow them or compel them to get help. We can't know that someone is doing something that is inappropriate and unethical, and we still support him in that
I don't agree with that.
particular thing. Even when Adam and Eve disobeyed God in the Garden of Eden, Adam got put out of the garden.
Yes.
He could no longer be restored back to caretaker of the garden. But at that moment, God was already, the plan of redemption was already in store for Adam's sake.
Hey, caller, thank you so much. We got a lot of people holding. We're going to take another call. Thank you so much, caller. But what he said is Adam got kicked out for nonsense.
Exactly. So stop trying to pretend like calling right wrong is some kind of biblical or Christian perspective.
She
Because it is
wasn't
not.
calling right wrong. She
It
was
is
talking
not.
about having compassion, D'Amico Page.
That's not having
what she was
compassion.
talking about.
No, that's not having compassion.
You gotta call her.
That's a different. That is a different definition in her mind of what compassion is.
You gotta call her.
Caller, you on the Don Miller Show.
Yes. Nobody knows what is in anybody's mind, or you can judge someone based upon what they are saying, that it's because they that's wrong, right. It has nothing to do with it. And I just want to let that gentleman know that just called. I don't have any issues like
One more call before the close.
that in my life.
Okay, thank you. Caller. Caller, we got another
She like you, Don.
another call. Sorry, we got to cut you off. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Sick of listening to the berating. I don't care.
Thank you.
Somebody has
God bless you and keep you till we meet again. Let's go back to the phone lines. Hey, you're on the Don Miller Show.
Go ahead, caller. Real quickly.
Yes, the caller that just got off the line.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't disturb yourself. Don't get yourself upset. What you were saying was absolutely correct.
Oh, okay.
Don Miller has the problem. Don Miller needs some counseling. So we all need to pray Don Miller is very rude. Don Miller is very, very rude. He's going to speak his opinion, which is the majority of the time. His opinion is sickening. So we're going to pray for Don Miller.
Amen. I need all the prayer
All
I
of
get.
y'all who listen to Don Miller know that Don Miller needs some counseling. Love you, Don Miller.
Thank
God
you.
bless
And
you.
I appreciate you listening because you're always listening, which means you're still a fan. You're still a fan, right? You know what?
You
You
know they
always
love
listen. You're still a fan. 407-894-1680. Listen, I just want to take a moment, right? Because I needed to talk about this, and it was hard for me to talk about.
It's so funny how
Because
it's so funny how black people, when you don't agree with them, then all of a sudden you need counseling.
Y'all just told me.
Black people
Y'all
can
just
never,
told me. What did y'all
black
just
people
say?
can never have their own perspective or opinion
You
about
just
anything.
said this the other day.
We so
that
intolerant.
you just said the other day, D'Amica, you and Glenn, that if a guy calls me up, he challenges me, we have a good conversation
In a respectful
like Jay,
way.
But what happens if
When a woman want to challenge him, they're gonna do it in a disrespectful way. But they'll call him disrespectful though. It's so funny. I told you that, and we saw it right here today. We want to thank everyone for joining us for great, lively, thought-provoking conversation today. Here is Karen and Sharon with Don Miller.
I want to shout out all the prayer warriors. I'm very serious about this. If you pray or however you engage with your maker, I want us to keep in our minds and our hearts Kanye West as we watch that brother and hope that he finds himself. Pray for Tamar Braxton and her difficult time. Pray for this country. Pray for this president. Pray for this candidate who's running against the president. Pray for all of those involved in the political scenario because we are at crisis in this great country. But I want to get back to the final moments of the show, right? A historic moment in the state of Florida, a state that has politically one of the few states, especially in the South, that held back so strongly on allowing people of color to rise to the level politically to serve us in D.C. And in 1992, there were three of them: Corrine Brown, Alcee Hastings, and of course, Carrie Meek. By suing, they were able to present three people of color to go to Congress on behalf of the state of Florida, the first time in 137 years when Josiah Walls, a black man from Gainesville, Georgia, served in the United States Congress. So 120, 30 years later, three blacks. And then, for the first time in the history of this state, a young black man from Tallahassee, Florida, running for governor. Many said he was up in the polls. Raised a lot of money. Money poured into his war chest. And it was a tight race, being challenged by a guy that many said was a Trump puppet. But the Trump puppet ran out of money. And the black guy still had $2.2 million with 47 days left. And the Trump guy kept borrowing money and spending money. The black guy still had $1.5 million with 30 days left. When all was said and done, the black guy had over $1 million in a race decided by 30,000 votes to make him the first African-American to be the governor of the state of Florida. And the Trump guy had no money. And then we find the guy who could have been and made all of us proud, a homegrown Florida rattler by the name of Andrew Gillum, who eloquently talked about the change that he saw coming to this state. And we heard his name being mentioned quietly as VP nominee. And then it all happened. He was found in the Mandarin Hotel in Miami with a white gay power top and methamphetamine. Nowhere in the police report did we hear anything about alcohol. Methamphetamine and a white gay power top. And now we're supposed to take him as he comes back and not be concerned that here's a man with 3 little babies and a lovely wife who not in any moment in the 10 plus minutes of his press conference yesterday said a damn thing about the white gay power top or the methamphetamine. Andrew Gillum, take several seats, my friend. God bless y'all.
There's vultures and thieves.